Hey, you feel that? You are now tuned into You Feel That with Bryce the Third. Yo, and welcome to a very special episode of You Feel That with Bryce the Third. I am, of course, your host, Bryce the Third. And if you're listening to this the day that it comes out, it is November 22nd. And this upcoming Thursday, if you are in the United States of America, is Thanksgiving. And I want to do a very special episode for the Thanksgiving episode. One that focused on gratitude and appreciation and the importance of that energy in our lives. But also an episode that wasn't just me, that brought in some of the voices of our community. So throughout this episode, as we talk about the importance of gratitude and appreciation in our lives, there'll be multiple voice notes sprinkled in from you, the listeners of You Feel That with Bryce the Third. I am so excited for our listeners to be able to listen to our listeners. One of the biggest things that I want to make sure I did here was to create community, to let those that are listening to this podcast know that you are not alone in the ways that you feel. You are not alone in your journey of learning how to feel. You are not alone in the search for understanding of these feelings. There's a whole community of us out here. And today we get to hear from each other. I'm so excited. So we're not going to lollygag. We're going to get straight into the episode and our first voice note. But first, a message from our sponsor, me. So before we get into it, this episode is brought to you by my Patreon, Bryce the Third. Look at this. Ooh, Bryce the Third. Ooh. I get it. You're mad emotional. There's not really a supportive place to be yourself, your emotional self. You want to learn how to harness these emotions and use them for good. You no longer want to be debilitated by these heavy emotions, but you want to be empowered by the ways that you feel deeply. You want to dig into more tools, more resources, and overall just take your life to the next level. Well, let me tell you, my friend, you are doing yourself a service by even listening to this podcast, because you are exactly who I made this podcast for. And if you want to help take this podcast to the next level, because I'm always growing and I'd rather grow with friends, hop on over to my Patreon. There's 3 tiers that you could pledge a monthly subscription to. Tier 1 is to show us some monthly love and help us take this thing to the next level perpetually. With Tier 2, you get access to a weekly text group that, trust me, you want to be a part of. With weekly motivation, reminders to give yourself compassion at just the right time, and updates on the newest products before anybody else gets their hands on them. And in Tier 3, not only do you get access to the Tier 2 text group, but you get a special shout out at the end of every episode of You Feel That. So basically, you become a damn celebrity. However you decide to show up is greatly appreciated, and I'm aiming to give you 3 times the value of whatever it is that you put in. Because you know the universe helps those who helps themselves. You can find a link to the Patreon page in the show description of whatever you're listening to your podcast on. And if you're on YouTube, it's down there in the description. Now let's get to the show.
What in life am I grateful for? I'm grateful for my health. I'm grateful for my children and my grandchildren. I'm grateful for my children's growth and successes. I'm grateful for being in the position to support my children's goals and dreams. I'm grateful for my life. I would not want to be anyone other than me.
So that was my mom. And to whatever degree she is grateful for me and my sister, like I'm double that. I'm double that for her. Oh, we can already tell that this episode is about to get super emotional. But I definitely have a lot of gratitude for my mother and how she shows up for me and how I can depend on her and how I can contribute a big reference point for what love looks like to her love. Whew. All right, let's start this conversation. What is gratitude? What is the importance of gratitude? Really and truly, to be honest with you, I ain't had to do a lot of research for this episode. Gratitude has been at the center of my experience for the past 8 years. Ever since I entered into recovery, ever since I began living intentionally, 2 things have been a consistent practice: gratitude and the cultivation of community. So the textbook Google definition of gratitude is the quality of being thankful. But what I'll add on to it is what we concentrate on and focus on expands. So yes, there's a quality of being thankful. There's a quality of gratitude, but then there's the practice of concentrating on what it is that we have to be grateful for. I know I've mentioned the miracle adage before, where it's that a miracle is not something necessarily coming in from outside of ourselves to show us something different, but a shift in our perception that allows for us to see what was already there the whole time. Gratitude allows for us to be grateful for what it is that we have. Having and practicing gratitude for what we have allows for us to attune to the energy of appreciation. And the beautiful thing about gratitude is gratitude attracts more things to be grateful for. It's a perpetual process. When we intentionally seek to have gratitude, we reverberate that energy and attract more things to be grateful for, which is counterintuitive to kind of how we're taught. We're usually taught like, oh, I get the thing, and then when I get the thing, I'll be grateful for the thing when I get it. But right now I'm in pursuit, and I'm kind of miserable until I get it. But once I get it, though, I'm gonna be grateful as hell for it. Watch, you'll see. I promise you. I'm gonna be super grateful. But what I found is that gratitude has to precede the obtaining of anything that we seek in order for us to even attract what it is that we want. It's less about the thing or the place and more about the person that we are before we even get to the place or have the thing. Because no matter what we get, if we're the person that can't appreciate and be grateful for it, once we get it, we're not gonna be grateful for it and we're gonna want something else. And it's a never ending process. It doesn't sound like the quality of life that I seek. What I found recently is that life can be whatever the fuck we want it to be. So life can be an amplification of gratitude, or it can amplify ingratitude. Your choice. And your choice, your decision of choices will expand your reality. So if I decide to amplify my gratitude, there will be more things to be grateful for. It'll come. And it might not even be that it comes more than I become aware of what is already there. On the flip side, if I decide to focus on what it is that I don't appreciate in life, more things are going to come for me to not be appreciative of. And once again, is it that more things are coming or that I'm attuned to what it is that I don't appreciate? And so I find more things. And everywhere I go, I find things to not appreciate. And life fucking sucks. What we focus on grows. And that works on both ends of the spectrum. Spending time looking for the good helps us to overcome ignorance of our wealth. And when I say ignorance, I want to break that down into ignore ants. When we spend time looking for the good, we no longer ignore it. Feeling that when we obtain what it is that we don't have, that we'll be happy, we ignore what it is that we already are experiencing that we can be grateful for, where our real wealth lies. Our real wealth lies in this moment. Our real wealth lies in what we are surrounded by right now. There are so many things in our life to be grateful for, but our attention or lack thereof will be what amplifies it or decreases its presence in our lives. Don't ignore your wealth. You're a wealthy person. You're rich in this moment. That's a good place as ever for our next caller.
My name is Susan. I'm 37 years old, and my life is nothing like it was this time last year. And the gratitude that I have for that is immeasurable. On Thanksgiving this year, I'll celebrate 15 years of sobriety. I'll show my gratitude for that by working at the Capuchin Soup Kitchen, of which I feel blessed that I even have the opportunity to do that. My life is completely different this year than it was last year. Over this last year, I became a single mom to my children. I learned how to do things that I never thought I could do. I saw a strength within me that I never knew existed. I had willingness that I don't know I could tap into on my own if I didn't have access to a higher power, and the strength and willingness and fortitude that I get from that. The people in my life have held me up this year. They have held me close. They have listened to me, and they have supported me consistently. I've been very vulnerable, and I'm so grateful for the people who make me realize how important it is to talk about what we're feeling inside and to connect on a deep level with the people that we love. There were times this year where I thought I had lost the ability to connect with other human beings. Today, I know that that's not true.
Whoa. Thank you, Susan, for sending that in. And thank you for your transparency and your openness. In 15 years, congratulations on your sobriety milestone. That is huge and inspiring and uplifting. And I know that there's some listeners that definitely needed to hear what you just shared. So let's dip in a bit to appreciation. Appreciation and gratitude go hand in hand. Now, my understanding may change as I grow and change. But right now, after doing the research that I did in my heart, both gratitude and appreciation are a practice and an action. Gratitude being the act of being thankful, with the act of appreciation almost being like the act of love. Like learning how to pay attention to the nuances of something, really tapping into the energy of appreciating it, like liking it, admiring it, being fond of it, having affection for it, perhaps even adoring it. Learning to see all the qualities within a thing, situation, place that you're grateful for. Like taking the time to scan life in a way that we can swim and dip into the pool of what it is that we have to be appreciative of. And even when I say these things, like they still sound synonymous. Maybe the lines will continue to become less blurred and I'll be able to distinguish distinctly between appreciation and gratitude as I move forward and have experience with both. But I do know in order to cultivate either one of them, it requires intentional time spent. We have to intentionally set time aside to be appreciative, which can be hard. But that lack of appreciation, that lack of practice can be maybe why our quality of life decreases. Because we're trying to do this and we're trying to make this happen and we got to create this and we got to go here and we got to be there, but we don't appreciate none of it. And I don't say like we don't appreciate none of it like we take it for granted. I say we don't appreciate none of it like we literally don't sit down and practice appreciation. Think of like everything in life there is to appreciate. Think of fucking forks. I don't know why that's the first thing that came to mind, but think of a fork. When's the last time you grabbed a fork and held it in your hand? It was like, damn, you do a lot for me. Like you really helped get food into my mouth without me having to use my fingers. You helped me grab shit in a way that a spoon could never. A spoon could never be you, fork. It's so much shit like that. There's so many different moments in life that I just have to stop and just pause and just appreciate. It never fails. Like when I get into this energy of appreciation, I feel my eyes well up. Cause it's like, wow, like I'm fucking blessed. I'm fucking rich. I'm wealthy. I drop my daughter off at school and the way she looks at me and smiles and see you later, I love you. Or my son is 15 and the fact that he won't get off the phone without telling me love you, bye. Like I don't take that for granted. I ain't do that shit to my parents. Well, maybe my mom. Learning how to pull out the flavors in life and savor each and every spice. It might sound a little woo-woo, but I'm telling you, this adds to the quality of our lives. And just like gratitude, when we concentrate on it, what we focus on expands. So if I'm the person that takes the time to appreciate what it is that I have, like no matter what I have, like I'll be fucking rich. I am wealthy today. And for me as a creative, like it adds to my creativity. I just operate better in an energy of gratitude and appreciation than I do of scarcity and fear. Like I gotta get this done because if I don't get this done, then I won't have this and this thing depends on me and this is you only get one shot and man, fuck that shit. Fuck that shit. No, I live in abundance. Look at what I'm surrounded by. I am in my podcast studio. I have the ability to create a platform for people that go through some of the same shit that I go through. We can create and cultivate connectivity through so many different formats. So even this episode is a practice of gratitude and appreciation for me. This is a meditation for me. I make this so that you can hear this maybe even years from now and apply it to your life. But this is active application of this in my life. This is what it looks and what it feels like. This is big. This is big. This is big. I think this is the perfect time for another one of our community members to pop in.
Oh boy, when Bryce asked me, what am I grateful for? There were so many things that popped up in my head, honestly. For instance, my very own breath, which is life force energy. Yeah, try saying that 10 times fast. Life force energy itself that is within me. I'm grateful for having access to organic foods. All those things I'm grateful for and more. But I think the one thing that I sometimes take for granted is my journey. And I'm very grateful for what I have been through because it has been so humbling. Like just imagining what I thought life would be and how I would get where I want to be and where I am still going. But life just gives us so many twists and turns, and it just reminds me to always stay grounded and seeing the optimism in life. And I'm grateful that my journey has taught me to be optimistic because I do believe that everything happens for a reason and we have purpose and we are purpose. So that's something that I'm grateful for, is my journey, and I'm grateful for many other things.
Yo, thanks, Drew, for sending that in. She's a great artist, too. I'm going to link her in the show notes so you can check out some of her stuff. And the thing that she shared about the journey and being grateful for the journey and not necessarily knowing that she would be where she is and having it set in her mind where she was going, but having the journey unfold how it's unfolded, it just kind of like reflective of that adage, you want to make the universe laugh, tell it your plans. And it's such a beautiful thing where we can subscribe to the energy of gratitude and appreciation, because it allows for whatever is going to happen and for us to pull out of that the lessons that we are going to learn from it. Versus, oh, I'm doing this and I'm doing this exactly like this, and when it doesn't work out exactly like this because I don't have that energy of appreciation and gratitude, like, oh, this is wrong or this is not going how I planned it to go, and then being filled with frustration and fear that things aren't going to work out like I planned it. Gratitude helps for us to unlock our ability to see where the opportunity lies, regardless of what is set in front of us. Gratitude and appreciation is what increases our pivot game. When things happen, it's less, why did this happen to me? And more like, of course, this happened to me. Why wouldn't it? We begin to see what we ask for in everything that we're given. We begin to crack the code. And the code is appreciation of the life that we live now. So let's talk about a couple of common obstacles that get in the way of being able to take advantage of this energy. You know, the inability to be present in the moment with what we have. You know, that feeling as if it's over there that will make us complete. Like, soon as I get over there, I'm going to be perfect. But until we get over there, I'm not satisfied. I'm not settling. You know, hustle culture will have you tap into that energy. And I've been tapped into that energy before, and it's fucking draining. And it keeps me from manifesting. It keeps me from being creative. It keeps me from enjoying the process. So, you know, the more that I scream over there, as soon as I get over there, I'll be happy. Like, but I'm the over there person. So as soon as I get over there, it'll be over there. And as soon as I get over there, I'll be happy. And then I get over there and it's like, well, no, over there. As soon as I get over there, I'll be happy. And it's like, no, like, I can be happy now. Matter of fact, look at this spoon. What is up with me and utensils? A spoon is so smooth. It helps me scoop soup in a way that a fork could never. Wow. Look at this. Look at this beautiful thing. Another obstacle, being in such a rush that we can't stop and appreciate the moment. I know we all know somebody like this. I know I've been this person. It's like always kind of on the move. Like, where the fuck are you going? I have to ask myself, I mean, it's a practice to not be this person. I have to ask myself, like, dog, where's I'm going? Where am I going? There's nowhere to go. This is it. This is it. This is it. This is it. Where I am right now in this moment is perfect. How can I take the next step towards creating what would contribute to my desired reality in this moment and be here in this moment with this process? But this kind of feeds into the over there attitude, except for it becomes fucking exhausting because you're almost like a zombie. We're almost like zombies. Like, where the fuck am I going? And then we wonder why we burnt out. Somebody else told me that doing this thing would make me happy. Because somebody else told me that having this thing would make me happy. And that's the disadvantage of floating, like society, like taking what's handed to us. Taking these viewpoints that was handed to us, taking these suggestions that was handed to us without questioning it. We're just floating. Like if you throw a feather in the air and it comes down, it's just going to float. Wherever it lands is where it's going to land. That's what a feather does. But if you have 100-pound weight and you drop it, it's going to land in an exact spot. You can predict its landing by where you drop it from. Same thing with us in life. If we're floating and we don't have a desired destination, we'll find 1,000,001 reasons not to be happy with our current circumstances. Every time we go on Instagram, it'll be something on there that we find that it's like, damn, I don't have that. I need that. Oh, damn, let me look at my bank account. My bank account don't have it to where I can get that. Damn, I can't afford that. Damn, my life sucks. Damn, I wish I had that. Damn, I'm looking at them. They over there. I ain't never been there. I need to go there. Like, it's always going to be something outside of us that we don't have or that we don't possess or that we're not experiencing that will allow for the practice of ingratitude. I hope that's the word, of not having gratitude. But without that desired reality, like without a picture painted of what it is that we desire to create, like we'll just float and we'll never be happy. And really, like, I don't want to get on like a philosophical soapbox, but this is how society is designed. If you're not a consumer, you don't contribute to the system. So it doesn't necessarily serve me as society to equip you to have the thought for yourself as to what it is that you want to create. So I'm gonna push on you that you need to do this and do this and do this. And it's always something that you need to be. Just stay on the path. Just stay on the path. Continue to go to school. Continue to, after that, make sure you have these clothes. After that, make sure you go here. After that, make sure, like, that's what I'm gonna push on you because you serve the system. Okay, yeah, I'm off my philosophical soapbox. This ain't no philosophical show yet. Another big obstacle is basing our gratitude levels off of what we receive in return from the good that we do. This is icky. I've done this millions of times. I've been that person that when I do something for you, I'm doing it and I'm looking like, you gonna do it back? Remember that time I did? Keeping a scoreboard? Ugh, nasty, yuck. Blah. Can't base our gratitude levels off of what we receive in return. What we receive in return is the fact that we did what we did. Learning to do things for the sake of doing them because now we're that person that does it versus doing stuff and looking for those things to come back. Don't be that person. Please don't be that person. If you're that person, stay the fuck away from me. Because I know I would want to spend time with the me that was that person because he sucked. But if it wasn't for him, it wouldn't be no me. So I'm grateful for me back then because I'm happy to be the me that I am today. All right, we got a couple more obstacles to touch on, but first, let's get another community member on here.
Sean is grateful for many things, but the things that really hold my heart dearly every single day, every waking moment, is the ability to form a relationship, the ability to connect with another human being, the ability to inspire through my actions, which makes me want to work even harder. The ability just to feel, the ability to be alive, the ability to create my own story, write my own chapter, write my own book, novel, series, the ability to empathize, the ability to have valuable relationships like Bryce the Third in my life, to be able to have a wolf pack of people that, really have your back and, they have yours, and they show it time in and time out. It's not off of a everlasting memory from years ago. Every time we're together, their actions speak amongst of how close our relationships are. And being able to do that is truly a blessing because a lot of people are unable to do that. And I realize and I recognize that, and I want to hold those relationships truly to my heart. And so that's what I'm grateful for, if I had to sum it up.
My brother, you hear that? Sean said, I'm a valuable relationship. Bryce the Third is a valuable person in somebody's life. That shit, man, like that shit'll never get tired to me. Like I'll never get tired of that. Like that is a focus of my lens of appreciation because I used to be a horrible person. I steal your shit. I go in your purse. I was unpredictable. I might try to punch you in the face. I have not always been this person. So it's always amazing to me. It blows me away that people appreciate being around me. And that brings me gratitude. That brings me energy. That makes me want to create more opportunities for people to appreciate my presence. Makes me want to create bigger platforms that affect people in a way that allow them to see the good in themselves. And because I'm a mirror of you, when you look at me, you're just going to see the best because you are the best because of what it is that you've been receptive to and hopefully some of my teachings or some of those things. Woo! Man, talk about Thanksgiving. We giving thanks today. Can we call Thanksgiving like Indigenous People Dinner Day? Because I like that more than Thanksgiving. So let's get back to a couple more obstacles to gratitude and appreciation. Another one is not having begun a relationship with yourself and started the conversation about like, what do I care about? And that goes hand in hand with taking what's handed you. It's not the people's fault that taught you the ways that they taught you that you received it and then ran with it. Everybody's doing the best they can with what they've been given, including your teachers, the ones that were handed you. Now, if you want to learn more, it's up for us to seek more. And part of seeking more is beginning a relationship with ourselves where we start to ask ourselves, like, what is it that I even care about? So asking yourself, what do I care about? And beginning this relationship with yourself, beginning this conversation with yourself that allows for you to have that North Star where now I can be grateful when I see indications of these things coming true in my life in this moment. Because even if there's not anything materially, so like, I want a Tesla. I will have a Tesla Model X. Definitely gonna get that mother of pearl. She's gonna be self-driving. I'm definitely set on this. Or better, gotta let the universe in. But the beautiful thing about my pursuit of a Tesla is that I can see little indications in my life in this moment that I will own that Tesla. I can see little indications in my life in this moment that I am worthy of a Tesla. And these things are just as exciting as the actual manifestation of my Tesla will be. But if I don't know what I care about, if I don't have any goals, because it's not even about the Tesla. Like, it's not even about getting a Tesla. I don't think I'm going to be the man because I have a Tesla. I'm the fucking man now. And what I care about is setting out and doing what it is that I say that I'll do. What I care about is setting out and adding enough value to the community, and the community supports me in such a way that I become financially equipped to be able to buy a Tesla if I choose to. Who knows? Maybe I'll have the money for a Tesla, and when I have the money for a Tesla 3 times over, maybe I don't even want it. But such is the practice of beginning that conversation with ourselves. What do I care about? Where do I want to go? And if we don't have that conversation started, at least, this can be an obstacle to having gratitude and appreciation for what's in our life, because we don't even know what we want in our life. So it's hard to find something to be appreciative of or grateful for because we don't have that North Star to align what we already have with. And also, before you move into the last section, which is how to practice gratitude and appreciation, I want to say that I am not saying that we can't aim to achieve and obtain more. You can have whatever the fuck you want. You just heard what I said. I'm getting a Tesla Model X. I'm going to pull up on you. Whoever you are watching this, listening to this, I'm pulling up on you in my Model X. Not to stump, but to show you that it's important that we get what it is that we set out to get. It's important that we see that we have the capability of creating and manifesting whatever it is the fuck we want. So gratitude and appreciation is not my way of saying that we can't aim to achieve and obtain more. But this is saying, like Jube said, like learning to appreciate the fucking process and what we have in the midst of the process. Because that's what will propel us towards whatever it is that we're aiming to get anyway. You won't ever appreciate anything moving forward if the practice of appreciation of right now isn't established first. Big. I hope you heard that. I hope you can hear it. I hope you will apply this. You're perfect right now. You're perfect right now. You're worthy right now. Nothing over there is going to make you more worthy. Nothing over there is going to make you more perfect. And on that note, time for another community member.
Hey Bryce, it's Joanne. Just wanted to tell you what I'm grateful for. Of course, my family, my friends, my life. But I'm also grateful for people like you, who we could reach across the miles and learn from each other and grow and inspire and be grateful for. Talk to you soon. Love you. Bye.
Joanne, such a delight to hear from you. I love you too, my friend. And yes, I agree. Being able to connect with people across the country, across the globe, is such a thing to be grateful for. And I'm going to continue to do my damnedest to help you all grow, excel, and succeed in the world as people who deal with big emotions. Because I'm doing my damnedest to do it myself. And that's how we connect. Whew. Man, I can feel like the energy in the studio right now is like super tangible. Like the hairs on the ends of my skin is standing up. So let's talk ways to practice gratitude and appreciation in our lives. Let's start out with gratitude lists. So now this is something I got from 12-Step. It's not like a 12-step thing, but it's something I got in those circles. My sponsor didn't make me. You can't make me do shit. But my nose was wide open enough when this was suggested to me to take the suggestion. And because I took the suggestion, I saw the benefit of the practice. Every day, not every day as of recently, but I try my best, guys, I promise. We set in the morning to send a list of 10 things that we're grateful for. It doesn't even necessarily have to be in the morning, just anytime throughout the day. Now, this can help with creating a community for yourself and really like bringing yourself closer to a group of friends that you hold each other accountable, because you got to send the lists to somebody. What I've learned is that over the years, like sometimes I send more lists than I receive. Sometimes I receive more lists than I send, but it's never like a shortage of lists. And it just kind of keeps me tapped into the attitude of gratitude. It keeps me tapped into what's important. It makes me appreciative and grateful of the fact that I sowed this seed so long ago with these people that I send and exchange gratitude lists with. Because on certain days where I may be tripping and I may be going through it, I may not be trying to hear no gratitude shit, I might receive a gratitude list and it's like, oh. Big contribution to the energy of appreciation and gratitude in my life is a gratitude list on a daily basis. And now that this is in an episode of my podcast, I probably should pick up on gratitude lists. But I sent one today, so you can't say shit to me because the most important day is today. And I sent one today before I even knew I was going to mention this in this podcast. So man, another way to practice is taking time to meditate on what in life you are grateful for. Intentional. Now, we talking meditation. I know I could lose a lot of people with meditation. People hear meditation and be like, oh, I can't shut my mind off. I think too much, or I got too much stuff in there. I don't want to sit down. And that's okay. I definitely have compassion. Matter of fact, empathy for those who think that way. But meditation is not about shutting our mind off. You can't shut your fucking mind off anyway. The thought of shutting your mind off is another thought on top of the thoughts that already exist. It's never going to work. That's okay. It's beautiful. I always respond. That's a beautiful thing. You can't shut your mind off because it doesn't go off. Meditation is about establishing a new relationship with our thoughts. And in this context, it's about maybe injecting some new thoughts and some new energy in there. You know what I'm talking about? So I spend about a good 15, 20 minutes a day in meditation. This is suggested by Abraham Hicks. Some days I sit on some Joe Dispenza, like focusing on the feeling of gratitude, like the body sensations of things that I have to be grateful for, and just thinking about the things that I have to be grateful for. And then back more so on some Abraham Hicks type stuff. Like sometimes I got too much going on in the mind. So what I'll do is I'll just kind of focus on like not focusing on anything. I'll just allow the thoughts to come and go and not really necessarily think anything. The trick here being that it's easier to go to gratitude from nothing than it is to go from ingratitude to gratitude, if that makes sense. I hope I'm explaining this right. This is definitely an active practice in my life, and I'm learning how to apply it. But yeah, so some days I'll sit down in meditation and like really focus on what it is that I have to be grateful for. And other days I'll just sit down and really focus on allowing the mind to do what it does without any judgment. A blank slate, beginning the day with new energy, like is definitely a better place to start than all the crazy energy from yesterday or all the leftover. Like that's a beautiful thing about a new day that I've learned with some of my most recent practice is that the momentum begins again in the morning. So this morning I can prepare my life, my receptivity for appreciation and gratitude for the energy of today, regardless of what happened yesterday, regardless of what I did, regardless of whatever shortcomings was going, like regardless of all that happened yesterday, like today is a brand new day. I got it tatted on my neck, one of these sides, not that side, the other side. It says today is a new day. And that becomes more true every day because this day is where it means the most. So spending intentional time. Intentional is the biggest word here because nothing that we don't set aside time for will ever grow. And I'm learning this right now because I'm trying to learn arithmetic so I can get better in business. And I've been working on Khan Academy and it's great, but I don't sit down every day. So like just 5 minutes a day, 10 minutes a day, intentional time set aside to cultivate our ability to focus in on appreciation and gratitude. And in my case, multiplication. For me, preferably in the morning time, as soon as the day starts, so we can take advantage of that momentum I just talked about. Purposely focus on what you have to be thankful for in your life. And this is a practice in appreciation and gratitude. It might not feel good at first. It might not feel, or maybe like it feels very exciting at first, and then the excitement dies down, and maybe there's some apathy around the process. Continue. I think that's where we can get it kind of fucked up, is that like we'll start this practice, but then when we stop seeing that energy, that excitement from the beginning, like we'll put the practice down. But no, keep going, keep going, keep affirming this in your life. It's like shooting a water gun into an empty pool. At first, it's not going to look like you making no headway at all whatsoever. But if you keep standing there and keep shooting, no matter how, like as long as you got unlimited water in a water gun, okay, I'm kind of getting off with this analogy. But when you shooting the water into the pool, like eventually like the pool is going to fill up. A drip of water in a pool doesn't seem like a lot when it's just a drip. But if you keep dripping and keep dripping and keep dripping, eventually this pool is going to be full and you'll look around and something will happen in life. And your first thought will be, oh, like that's perfect. That's absolutely perfect. Like, whereas beforehand, you'd have been like, oh, this sucks. And I can't see the light in this circumstance. Like it's happened to me. And I don't even know how I became this guy. It's the compound effect of continuing to practice on a daily basis. Like now I can depend on me to have somewhat of an optimism. I won't even say somewhat. I just don't necessarily like the word optimist, crazy, because it kind of insinuates that I'm ignoring the bad. But we was talking about ignoring being ignorance, right? Like ignoring ignorance. I think I do ignore the bad sometimes. I do ignore what I don't want because I'd rather pay attention to what it is I do want. Our attention grows things. So if I pay attention to what I do want and ignore what I don't want, what's going to be the loudest thing in my life? What I do want. That'll be controversial. Take that and do whatever you want to with it. People will be like, well, you're not living real life. You're not being realistic. You're not facing reality. Like Abraham Hicks say, I'm not here to face reality. I'm here to create reality. Know who you talking to when you talking. I ain't never seen somebody practice something continuously over and over and get worse at it. Practice appreciation and gratitude. I do have a story about a gratitude walk that I took. I haven't done another one since. But that night, like I was walking for like maybe like an hour and a half, and a good half of that time, like I'm grateful for it. Like I just kept looking and finding things to be grateful for and just was saying these things out loud. And the energy that I was filled with was, wow, I live in a world of wonderment. I live in an amazing life. Another suggestion for how to best practice appreciation and gratitude in our lives: learning not to make the mistake of depending on others' appreciation of us. If I need for you to appreciate me, for me to find appreciation in my life, like I'm dependent on you, and you aren't something that I have control over. And I just can't find my worth in what you think of me. And when we talking about practice, learning to spend time with and on ourselves, like practice. This is a practice. So what's always around for us to practice on? Ourselves. Looking towards ourselves rather than others for appreciation will cause others to appreciate us more. Come on now, like I'm giving y'all game. I'm giving me game. You are me. You are a mirror. I don't necessarily even teach. I just be me out loud in front of you because I need these things as much as anybody else may. Looking towards ourselves rather than others for appreciation will cause others to appreciate us more and will allow for us to see within others what it is that we are appreciative of, because those things remind us of the things that we see in ourselves. This is a practice and a process. All right, this next one is like big on my list. This next one is huge. This next one has helped me out of some crazy shit. Are y'all listening? I hope y'all listening because this is important. I really hope that you hear this. Humor. There's a quote that says, when you give the simple twist of fate one more turn, it's often quite funny. And there's been so much shit that I've been in, so many circumstances that were undesirable, that when I looked at it, I just had to laugh. I had to laugh. And that laugh allows for me to see and be filled with the light energy in the circumstance. This allows me to operate with the light heart. A light heart can carry a heavy load. Humor is the pull-ups that prepares my back to carry the backpack full of bricks that life delivers. Damn. That's going to be in my book. That's going to be in my second book. My first book is already written and it's on the way. That's going to be in my second book. That's the title. Backpack full of bricks. But no, for real, seriously though, like humor has saved my life. Humor has saved my life. Like the most serious people, I can't even speak on them. I know I was one of them. Like, what the fuck is you laughing at? What is funny? Super getting offended and all type of stuff like that. Like that was me. Not no more. I don't even want that weight. I don't need that weight in my life. I can find humor in damn near anything. There's been so much humor and heartbreak that I found that just allowed for me to laugh at myself. Humor is soup for the soul, baby. Let me tell you, it'll warm you up. And last of the practices that we'll discuss today, but definitely not the least, is giving. Like it feels good to give, to do good for others, not for any return besides the feeling of doing good. We talked a little bit earlier about like giving with the, you gonna get back? Yeah. Mm-hmm. But like what's crazy is every time I give, and I've even learned this like with love, like when I give love, like when I practice giving love, like I don't really give it for anybody else other than me. It feels good for me to love you. Like, and I don't need any reciprocity for real. Like I enjoy the experience of being in love with you, appreciating and being grateful for who it is that you are in my life. And I don't need that back. Because that is that back. Like love is for love's sake in my life right now in this season. And I'm appreciative of this energy. But just doing good in general. I definitely got to buy somebody coffee this year. I've done it before where we're in a drive-thru. You ask, can I pay for the people behind me? And maybe for the whole line for the rest of the time, people are just paying for people orders behind them. I don't do it to see the appreciation on nobody's face. I don't do it for none of that. I do it because now I'm the person who does that. When I show up, when I call, when I just randomly text, and my friends know, if you my friend, you'll know that maybe you'll get that 4:00 text in the morning like, you are a queen. You are a king. You inspire me. I don't do it because I want it back. I don't do it necessarily because I want you to appreciate me. Like I really don't give a shit whether you remember whether I sent it or not. I do it because I would appreciate it if I received it. I'm that person who does that. I emit that energy. So I'm going to attract nothing but people that are responsive to that energy into my life. But I don't even do it for the attraction. I do it because it fucking feels good. And I think that's a good rule of thumb to figure out like what type of good to do. Like how would it feel if you received this thing? Also, like to be informed, learn to read the room. There's the golden rule, which is treat everybody like you would want to be treated. And then there's the platinum rule, which is treat everybody like they would want to be treated, because maybe love to me looks like receiving gifts, but love to you looks like quality time. And so here I am trying to give you all these gifts and like, you don't see how it is that I'm loving you, but here you are. It's like, damn, I don't feel love because you don't spend no time with me. So, learning to read the room as well. But this is big. Doing it for the doing its sake. Doing it for the sake of being the person that does it. It feels good to give. And these are just a few things. This is just scratching the surface how we can practice gratitude and appreciation in our lives. And I know just scratching the surface of what it is that I've come to experience and know, and just scratching the surface of what it is like that exists, because I'm pretty sure there's a multitude of ways that I haven't even cracked into, because I'm in the midst of creating and cultivating more appreciation and gratitude in my life. So there's probably a lot of practices that I'm not even aware of. We in this shit together. We on this journey together. So make gratitude and appreciation the focal point of your life, and you will be abundant and wealthy. And when I say you will be, you are. You are. I told you earlier, I'm going to tell you again, you are perfect. You need nothing other than what you are to be as perfect as you are, because it's inherent. You are complete. You don't need anything other than who you are to be complete, because you are complete. It's just as if you see it or not. You need to see it. There's that appreciation factor. Can you see it? Let's take a note from one more community member before we get up out of here.
I'm thankful for the trials I go through, because I realize that's just the Lord's way of answering my prayers. When you ask God for wisdom, He has to put you through a test so you can gain that wisdom. When you ask God for wealth, then you have to work to earn that. Nothing in life is free. So I thank God for the trials.
That was my guy, Influential Clay. Them trials and tribulations, I do agree, those things build character. And once again, kind of like speaking on like what Jube had said and what Clay said, like that gratitude and appreciation allows for the alchemy of trials and tribulations into wisdom. A lot of people just see trials and tribulations and get their ass beat by them. Like, damn, I'll never catch a break, or damn, it's never working out for me. But in all actuality, these things, depending on how you look at them, can be there to serve us. I know mine's are. My struggle is not for naught. And that's it for today's episode of You Feel That with Bryce the Third. This has been a very special episode. This is the most energetic I think I've ever felt in the podcast studio. And it really speaks to the energy of gratitude and appreciation. Once we let it in, it's abundant. We're abundant. And I appreciate each and every one of y'all for tapping in and listening to this episode. I also appreciate all of the callers that sent in voice notes for the rest of the community to listen. You all are the real MVP. I sent that call out to a lot of people, and the fact that you sent yours in, that means a lot to the community. And I know a lot of people benefited from hearing other voices other than mine. I got quite a bit of the info in this podcast episode from this book I'm reading right now. It's called Wealth 101. If you all are avid listeners to the podcast, I actually recommended another book by the author of this book called Love 101 on the Love episode. If you haven't heard that episode, I'll link it in the show notes. Like, that's a great episode as well. And that's a great book too. But Wealth 101, I think Peter McWilliams, and it was a co-author on it too, but I'll link that book in the show notes of this episode. It has been invaluable in raising my awareness of things to be grateful for and appreciative of in different ways to do so. Now look, I am feeling very grateful and appreciative of you all in the community that we're building here. And I'm just feeling super giving. It's the holiday time and Christmas is around the corner, and I wanted to do you all a solid. So I got this book coming out. I'm thinking next year, 2022, is when we're going to launch it. But today, because I'm overwhelmed with the energy of appreciation and gratitude, I want to give you all a sneak peek and let y'all read the chapter on gratitude, because that's what this episode is about. So if you go into the show notes, you can click the link and download the PDF for free. I'm excited to get the book in your hands, but I'm even more excited to give y'all this sneak peek, especially how it aligns with this episode of You Feel That with Bryce the Third. Pop on over to Apple Podcasts and leave a rating and review. It means a lot, especially if you got something from this episode, to let other people know about how this podcast is affecting you as we continue to grow, as I continue to put a lot more focus on marketing and getting this into the hands of the people that need it, that just don't know it exists. The ratings and the reviews, like the personal reviews that come from your heart, like that speak a lot and allow people to click easier. And the quicker we can get them to click, the quicker we can get them in the community, the quicker we can get some of these resources and tools at their feet that they may need. And if you're feeling really generous, I will be very grateful and appreciative of the fact of you popping over to my YouTube and subscribing to my YouTube channel, Bryce the Third. Some of you may just listen to the audio of this podcast, but I do shoot video to this podcast. So if you want to come see my pretty face, you can go on to YouTube and watch the videos of these episodes. And when we get to 1,000 subscribers, we can monetize and get some money. So please subscribe if you haven't. Follow me on social media at Bryce the Third everywhere. And finally, we'll leave you with this quote by Alphonse Kerr. Some people are always grumbling because roses have thorns. I am thankful that thorns have roses. Continue to look through the lens of appreciation and gratitude. Happy holidays. Enjoy your family. I love you. Sending nothing but good energy your way. It already exists, but I'm just sending awareness of the good energy to you. And I'll catch you next time on You Feel That with Bryce the Third.